Okay, let's let this open up. Frostpunk, oh, just as my tablet dies. Good timing. So, Frostpunk, the board game. There's a setup button. Interesting. Ooh, they have updated the scripting. That is very nice. Deals everything out for us. Did it give us our body bag? Yep, gave us a body bag. So for setup, you randomly draw the deposits. You'll have 3 around the outside. Anywhere there isn't a deposit, the other 3 corners, you place an A and a B tile. So we've got 1 steam core, decent amount of available wood and coal, and what I quite like is the big deposits also have an empty space on them in quite good locations. So we might go for a gathering post. Technologies, gathering post insulation. So they are always on their upgraded side. And whenever you do a build action, you may do it 4 times instead of 3. Interesting. So it puts it on face up, which is nice because that tells me we were playing it right and you are meant to see what you've added to the deck. So our social dispute is whichever you have the most active tokens of. And we've started with motivation and greed. Motivation, take a resource from the board +1 for each motivation, and greed, 3 hunger for each greed. We've got double rations, extended shift, the care house, that's really good. As is double rations. And the fighting arena. Okay. Let me just put the command for Frostpunk as a little bit of a blurb up there. And update our title. And then we will get going. Oh, it didn't. Yeah, we didn't do any expeditions because we don't need those yet. Feels weird having it all just do the setup. It feels like I've forgotten something, but I think we're pretty much good. So 2 coal into the furnace. 1, 2. I like the option around here to set up a couple of gatherer posts, probably around this one, which would mean we want 1, 2 spaces explored, so we can get a couple of A tiles here and here. And depending on what is on this tile, we could either explore 2 B tiles here and here, or here and here. We've got 2 wood, 2 coal, 1 wood, 3 trees. Not sure. So that is a cold job. So we get a sick worker. What else are we going to be doing? I think we're definitely going to be introducing a law first round. So let's go ahead and do this. So over on the platform, we can introduce a law. Child shelter is quite nice early. it means we won't be able to get child labour. They are mutually exclusive. There's these pairs of laws that are standard within the game, and if you choose one, you can never do the other. Child shelter, though, it is a positive thing. So the plus blue means you can either flip one of these from its black side to its active side, inactive to active, or you could draw one new token in its inactive state. As well, we get the option to build the child shelter, and the child shelter is just a building that will house 4 children, which is particularly useful if we're not putting them to work. It just keeps them warm. Let's go for it. I've done a few playthroughs recently of child labour, the opposite action where we can start sending the kids out to work. Let's go for the child shelter law. Because of this social dispute, which actually should be shuffled in and face down now, it's the most active tokens of a type, and if they're all the same, you trigger them all. So actually we may as well activate both our motivation and justice. And then we will shuffle. Each of the law has 2 face down cards. You will take one and also add it into your dusk deck. And these events, it's a bit like Robinson Crusoe, or I think this War of Mine does it a bit as well. It's been a while since I've played that. The actions that you do will come back to bite you. In this case, the fact that we have introduced the child shelter law means there's 1 of 2 possible events. It would be nice, I'm not sure if it was a stretch goal, it would be nice if there was a little more variety on these, but the fact that you can introduce different laws every time and then each of those laws also has different things, there is still a good amount of variety. So we've introduced the law, we've added in one of those event cards, and we've unlocked with it the child shelter special building, which can be built immediately after introducing this law. So we will spend 1 wood and build a child shelter. It is an orange building, so I might actually place it a little further out, or even all the way out. Our kids are living out in the snow, but it's a building type which is relatively easy to heat. We only have to go past this marker. So that, especially in the early game, is pretty easy to do. And later on we could always dismantle it, get 1 wood back, and then rebuild it. So let's keep it out of the way, let's do it there. Alright. So we still need to decide where we want a gathering post. I think it's probably going to be on this tile here, because then we can gather this 1 wood, which makes it a perfect spot for a sawmill. So let's do 2 more explore actions, which is 2 more sick workers. And you would do these 1 at a time, reveal it, add all the resources, and then decide from there. But I think if we're going to build, it's really most efficient to have all the tiles around it exposed. So let's just reveal it all now. Lock them into place. Okay, not the best resources on those. 1 steam core is all we have here, and this tile has only 1 wood on it. But it does have 4 trees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's go building. We've only got 2 wood actually, so let's gather from this spot first. Each worker gathers 2, and it is a heated space. And then we can send the worker out. We need a gathering post, which we will place here. That is 1 wood. And then we're either going to need lots of food very quickly, so we could build 2 more, or we go for shelters. I think definitely 1 shelter in there, and having some amount of food income. We'll place a hunter's hut up here. Hunter's hut is not only an action. Oh, let me block this guy. Hello, spam. Goodbye, spam. So the hunter's hut is not only an action space that we could go to get 5 food, but during the weather phase, there is a, I think it's for every 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 hunter's huts you will collect a certain amount of food. We will never have enough food, but at least this is a passive supply. That is our buildings built. We will then have to send an engineer out. And yellow buildings, because our marker is on top of the yellow, are heated. So this is not a cold action. He can gather 1 resource from the tile itself and each adjacent tile. So that'd be this wood, this wood, this wood. I would like this wood. It's going to leave us very short of coal. But actually no, it doesn't free up a spot. There was a sneaky extra wood underneath. So we will go for the coal. We'll take this wood and this wood. And then our final worker, because we cannot use our children, they are just going to be annoying. We could come out, either gather some more food. We've got the cookhouse, where we could get rid of the greed token, but that would cost us all of our food. We only have 4 food currently. Or we can build some more, and I think 2 more tents. 1 actually, we are short of coal. We've heated the inner ring, but we would need to move this marker up 1 more to heat the second ring. So if we did build a tent here, we still couldn't let anyone stay in there overnight. This is housing for 4 extra meeples. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that need housing. So we'd have 4 people without a house, 4 people would get sick. We could put our extra coal into the furnace so that the second ring is heated. And obviously that could mean we build another house and we'd get fewer sick. Or we could look at a different building, for example the sawmill. We could build a sawmill now. It's not one we would use this round though. So with our other 2 buildings, I'm very tempted for 2 more hunters' huts. And we could place these 1, possibly 2 out here. So we'll get more sick based on the fact we haven't got housing. But we can gather more wood next round to build more housing. And we'll have more food. So it's a risk either way really. We're either going to be short of food or short of housing. You will never in a game of Frostpunk, have enough people or enough resources to do everything you want. So we've just got to accept which is going to be the lesser. Ah, hey Mortai, how you doing, man? Long time no speak. How's everything? Frosthaven coming along? Or more importantly, how are you and how are you keeping with everything that's going on in the real world? So, we've done our actions. Kids can't do anything. So we'll move on to the dusk phase. Okay, so this is the social dispute card we looked at earlier. If there's a draw in active tokens, apply all of the tokens that make it up in the above order. So we need to start with our greed and add 3 hunger. Then we have motivation and justice. So motivation, take 1 resource from the board plus 1 for each active motivation token. So we can take 2 resources. Excellent. I will take a steam core, thank you. And let's take this wood. It may not seem like it's worthwhile since it's right in the centre here in a region we can gather easily. But that means next turn, when we gather from our gathering post, this space is empty and it's then possible to build a tent there without destroying any resources. You're doing good, working on stuff, mostly bunkered at home. Yeah. So long as you're keeping well with yours and your family, your missus, keeping out of harm's way out there. Seems like it's all picking up again, but can only do what you can do, try and avoid it. The card then, we have motivation, justice. Exhaust 1 discontent token or activate 1 hope token. So we can exhaust greed. That worked out okay. Hunger phase, reduce hunger by food. So we're down to 1 food. And then feed based on the round. So round 1, we are feeding the kids. We have 8 of them and 1 food. So we gain 7 hunger. No bad effect now, but if we don't have enough food to deal with hunger, whatever level that token remains at, you will suffer the consequences at the bottom here. So it doesn't take much hunger before you get discontent and people starting to die. And whenever you have someone die, you add a new token, which loses hope. And a very quick way of losing the game is to lose all your hope or increase your discontent. And since this does both of them, the hunger track is definitely problematic. How's your impression of Frostpunk so far? It looks pretty grim in the sense you could even manage to survive. Yeah. There are... I think I've played 6 or 7 games of this now, and I think I've won once, maybe twice. There's been a couple of games where I've just knowingly done something wrong. I think I've won twice actually. One of the games I got quite excited with the automations, and there were a few times I forgot to feed them coal. So although we got, I think, a level 2 victory because we had some resources at the end, we probably should have struggled a little bit more through the middle. But it's definitely not a game you'll win very often. So it's one of the, I think it fits the setting though. That, you know, if it's a 10%, 20% win rate, that's probably what you'd expect for this sort of dire apocalyptic world. But yeah, it is tricky. I think some of the things they've looked to implement since the Kickstarter closed, based on a lot of feedback, has been to making it a little easier, like having a hand of characters, the character cards, which they've not implemented into their Tabletop Simulator module yet. But that gives you a special action you can do each round, and also when you do have to kill a citizen, you've got certain ones you could then discard from your hand for a lesser penalty. So just trying to make it a little bit easier. But it's fun in so much as it's a challenging game. It's not fun in the it's a laugh a minute playing the game sort of game. Depends what mood you're in. So we need to bring our people back and place them into housing. We've got 2 4 tents for actual working populations, of which we have... Where's our other one? Here. We have 8. The kids are in their shelter, but you can't put adults in with the kids' shelter. We are not that kind of society. So who do I want to get sick? We probably need our workers to be kept warm. Otherwise they're going to start getting into trouble. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4 sick. Dawn. Move the round marker. If we hit an event, we would trigger it. Draw and resolve a mourning card. Heated workspace. So people are afraid that heating distribution isn't optimal, and some of them might work in unheated areas. Promise that no one will work in the buildings with weak heating. Promise that no more than in exceptional circumstance. We could get a justice, +1 justice, if we promise no one's going to work in the cold. And early on, it's not impossible to promise that, but we don't know when this card, the Dusk Event 14, might come out. It could come out very late in the game. But let's go for it. Let's promise them so we can bring 1 more hope token out of the bag. It's not justice, but if we had inactive justice with this effect, we would then flip it active as well, but this one was already active. 20% sounds worse than the Ghost Exorcist board game. Can't recall the right name. Ghost Stories, is it? That one's meant to be pretty brutal in its win rate. The one like Kung Fu co-op. Yeah. Ghost Stories. Yeah, I mean, granted, it might just be I'm very bad at the game, and my 20% win rate is not reflective of the gaming community at large. But I do try and remember to upload my result, because if it is just difficult in a solo setting, it's good that they know that and they can tweak it. So we've added another Dusk event. We've increased this track, and that is our morning event. Generator phase, add sick based on the heat position. So heat, the difference between the top token and where we've heated, we have to do every symbol. So this is a flip symbol. We need to flip one of these tokens over. I think we're going to flip the children. When they're in this phase, they're very likely to get killed, which is dangerous for children. Actually, I might do engineers right now. But since they are safe in their shelter, they shouldn't be getting much sickness. So they should be relatively good to flip. But if a child dies, you lose more hope than normal, which makes sense. malfunction cubes into the generator bag. So one thing that doesn't convey on the tabletop version, this is a cube tower and you should be dropping cubes inside it. You can just about make it out, and whatever comes out, like Shogun style or Wallenstein or Amerigo, whatever cubes come out you add onto your damage track, but we are only adding one damage cube in, and on a tabletop simulator version you roll 2 dice, taking the lowest. We cannot roll lower than 1. We will add 1 cube. Reset the heat. You've seen multiple games and haven't seen a single win. Yeah, I mean, as I say, there's probably been bits that I've played wrong. You know, if anyone's seen Raudo running through a game, it's hard to keep track of everything when there's no one watching over your shoulder and you're trying to keep the content moving along. So I've probably made a mistake, but I think we've got a win or two. I remember one where I've done the mech wrong because someone pointed that out. I think there was another. Yeah, I know you mean other playthroughs, yeah. I didn't finish watching the gaming rules playthrough because they were using the new character cards as well. They did a playthrough, I think, with the designer, didn't they? Paul Grogan on gaming rules. I'll have to finish watching that actually. So, weather phase, draw a weather card. And we will apply all these effects. So this is pretty bad for us. We need to progress the storm twice, which is bad because we're going to hit this first storm earlier, which means those rubbish tents will be out of action earlier. The top storm marker increases, but we have, I think we have 3 hunters' huts. Yeah, so we will gain 6 food. That's almost enough to take care of the hunger situation, so that's useful. If we had anyone out on expeditions, they would advance. Preparation, resolve sick. So both of these tokens increase 1. This will increase and flip. That's what these mean. When you start getting up here, you lose workers. Here, where you have to flip a token twice, basically is telling you one of that worker type is dead. So 15 or higher in sickness, you're probably game over. There's not much coming back from that. Action. Okay, so let's gather. Oh, we need a heat. It's going to be a cold action, isn't it? We can do 1 coal to heat, and I'm pretty certain that means the inner circle isn't heated yet. Yes, you need to move it. Heat is on the first heat range token. Oh no, the central tile is heated, yeah. So we can then send a worker to get us 2 more coal. 1, 2, which we will definitely put 1 into the furnace. I think we will do both. 1, 2. We can then send the worker here, and we've gone past the yellow space but also gone past the second ring, so these buildings are heated, and we can claim 1. Do we want the wood? I think we want the coal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's think, if we build a sawmill... No, I'm gonna go for the wood. So if we do a build action now, we can spend 2 wood on a sawmill. We can start chopping down these trees. We can then spend 1 wood on a hunter's hut. And we can place it closer so that someone can actually get there this round. And we will spend 2 on another tent. So that's all our wood. So we need to come here for food before I forget that everyone's going to starve. Up to 11. 5 food, okay. Then we can send a worker here to chop down a tree. That gets us 3 wood. 1, 2, 3. I'm tempted to build another hunter's hut up here so we have all of them early. This would definitely be the earliest I've ever got them all built. And we could build a tent here. And with that we'll have 4 tents, so everyone is housed. We will have 5 hunters' huts, so we're gaining the maximum amount of food. And that feels like a really strong start. We need to find more wood. It's long term. This space is probably this hunter's hut spot is where we want a sawmill because they can get from adjacent trees. But maybe we'll explore here. We've got a steam core, we'd need a workshop, and we can upgrade, but it's probably going to be turn 4 that we look at doing that, and turn 3 we have to get the beacon built. And what else could we do? So we can implement another law. Care house is good. We do have a care token we could activate. Or we look at double rations. We're going to need food additives probably from next round, because that's just really strong. That saves us 10 food, which when you have to get to 25 is almost essential. But then heated meals, I've used it once, and with that I found we didn't need to worry about coal, and then we could gather food. So I am tempted to go for heated meals again, but not yet. Do we go nice for everything? Should we get care house and heated meals and see if we can just go for a really good run? Good, I mean morally good. Because field kitchen could come into play, and I believe that makes a building permanently warm. That could take care of the child shelter. I've never introduced, or I don't recall, I don't think I've introduced the faith or order buildings. The building on the same tile as the kitchen is always considered to have red insulation. Applies to blue insulation level buildings as well. So you could use it to just make a tent actually usable even at the end. That's interesting. That would save some wood, having to get a house built. What are the other buildings? Get rid of sick bodies. Activate all of your inactive tokens. I mean, the field kitchen I feel is the best of those, but cemetery could be very good. Let's enact a law. And let's go for the care house. Do we have wood? We do have wood. We've got enough housing. 1, 2, 3. No, we don't have enough housing. That's what we're weighing up. We've got the food. Yeah, I think we can afford to do this. We'll go for the care house law. We need to add one of these 2 laws. 2 dusk events. And actually now that's reminding me, I don't think we shuffled another yellow card in. It's not become relevant yet, but we should look at what this is. If hope is greater than discontent, exhaust one of your hope tokens. Okay, hope's definitely greater than discontent, and we are improving that as we speak. So we shuffle that in, and this one shuffles in. We can then use 2 wood to build the care home. And where are we going to place this? Dump it out of the way and get rid of a wood. Yeah, let's do that. So we've got a care home. And we will gather 2 wood from here. 1, 2. And then build 1, 2, 3 wood to get another tent. We can't place it where we've already assigned a worker. We'll have to come out here. And we will get the final hunter's hut. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 accommodation plus the child shelter. That's everyone housed. Yeah, that feels really good. This is where we fail completely, but I'm pretty happy. Oh, one thing we didn't do with the care house, we need to add a token and activate care. Now I'm pretty certain we just do one of these care tokens. But let's just check. When instructed to increase your hope or discontent of a specific type, perform the following steps in order. Draw 1 token from the appropriate bag, place it on the exhausted side. If possible, flip any 1 exhausted token of the indicated type to its active side. There we go. Look how hopeful people are. Dusk phase. If the care house is built, reduce hunger by 5. Nice. Hunger 7 down to 2. And that card isn't discarded, or isn't removed from the game. That stays in the discard until we're told to shuffle. And then we have to reduce hunger by food, so we can get rid of 2 food. And then we need to feed based on the round number. So this is blue. We are feeding 12 people. We have 9. So we have 3 hunger. Night phase. Let's bring everyone back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people to house and 2 children. So yes, 2 children. 1, 2, 3, 4 houses for 2. So everyone is housed, no sickness from being cold. So yeah, everything's heated. Dawn phase. Move the round marker. Morning phase. Orphans. Our society can provide for our weakest. Acts of mercy can break the ice or even the coldest hearts. If you have the child shelter, temple or care house building, of which we have 2 of those, you can exhaust 1 hope for -2 discontent. Yes. Otherwise, add 2 sick children. So let's get rid of justice and get rid of 2 tokens. Very nice. Generator phase. So we need to add sick based on the difference. There isn't any. Place malfunction cubes. It's 2 cubes. Let's roll. That is a 1. So 1 on the track and 1 in the generator. And then reset the heat position. Weather phase. Storm doesn't move. Everything here drifts 1, 1, 1 and 1. We will gather 9 food. And we have nobody on an expedition. So preparation. Oh, we didn't cure the sick worker. That's one thing we didn't do. Hey ho, so we increase this and flip it. So one of our workers dies. Sorry there, chap. You are dead. And we need a body. People do care. So on these above the line are for adults. We will lose 1 hope. Below the line is for kids. So we can remove a token or flip active to inactive. I think we will get... Ooh. Did we have another specific token we were going to flip? No. Let's get rid of a care. Or the justice. I'm going to get rid of the justice. Sometimes it's useful to have 2 of the same token active. So we've managed to kill a worker. Action phase. Off we go again. So we can place 1 coal to get the generator started. But that's not enough to heat this middle area, so you may as well gather from this space since it's cold anyway. Add some more sick. Oh, I only did the 1 sick track, I didn't increase these. I was too busy caring that someone died. There we go. Okay, so got a couple more coal. Let's use both of them now. To go 1, 2. So the inner ring is heated, and red, orange, and yellow, I believe. Ooh. We are on the 2nd heat marker. So red, orange, and the centre and near tiles are heated. So basically only the yellow tiles on the far tile aren't heated. So as long as we don't work those jobs, we'll be okay. We go to the gathering post, we'll get 1 wood and 1 coal. That isn't a lot. But it does free this space ready for a build action. So let's go there. And we can dismantle the gathering post next round. We will go to the sawmill, chop down a tree, and get 3 wood. 1, 2, 3. We don't have anywhere good to put this balloon as of this point in time. Not without destroying a load of buildings. I think I want to reveal this tile because it could be a good spot for an upgraded sawmill. So let's send a worker out in the cold and explore another B tile. There's 1 steam core there. Okay. I don't know if I want to send someone to just collect a steam core, whether can I afford to just bury a steam core? They're very good. We've got 2 wood. No, we need 3 wood for the beacon. 1 wood would get us a medical post. Okay, let's build. We've got enough food for the hunger situation. Yes, it's going to be a problem next round. I'm doing it. I'm getting rid of this steam core. That's probably a really bad move because they are very hard to get. But we need a balloon. So I'm building it now. We need to add 2 expeditions. This one potentially has people. This one could be anything. Do we want more people? More people might get us more workers. But we're quite short of resources. I think I'll send someone on the expedition for potential resources. So that's 3 wood to build the beacon. And let's build a medical post here. And then we will make use of the medical post and our care house out here. So if we flip care, we can heal 5, and this lets us heal 3. So we can heal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So the engineers are still in the danger spot. We can move workers up or the children up with this sickness, which we're going to get, and then potentially just deal with that next round. That is all of our actions, and that's 1 extra wood I didn't spend for the medical post. Yeah, that feels about as good as we're going to hope for. 1 worker must take care of the dead body. What do you mean, take care of the dead body? It's not listed as an action to deal with a dead body from last round. Yeah, we had a dead body. We added a dead body and we lost hope and we reduced our worker number because we started at 25. We're now at 24. We didn't have a sick worker. This one is add a token of a worker who's too sick to do anything. You might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. There are definitely rules to this that I've got wrong previously. But the way I've interpreted it, you can't have more sick than the number of citizens. That's not the issue. When one of your citizens dies, move the corresponding citizen token one space back. We did. We've gone from 25 to 24. Draw a dead body. Look at its numbers. Place the body on the death track. So that's all it references when it talks about death. When you look at actions you can do, action phase, it doesn't talk about needing to do an action with dead bodies in terms of assigning a person. You reckon I'm right? That's cool. Thank you for pointing in a comment there. I'd much prefer to correct it at this point than find out, you know, way down the line. We've only got one coal and no source of coal. We're going to have to get the kiln going very soon. So maybe we don't go on an expedition. Maybe we do just have to gather more coal. I'd like to go on an expedition. I'm not sure I can afford to go on an expedition. Get coal now, go for the random stuff. Get coal, go for the random stuff. If I get coal, we don't have to build a kiln or gather from out here when it's cold. But I think the safe option is to just do that. Okay, dusk phase. If the child shelter is built, cure 1 per child meeple. Ooh, very nice. We have 2 child meeples. 1, 2. Hunger phase. Reduce hunger by food. So we have 3 hunger. Ooh. 3 food. This is where it's problematic though. Feed based on the round number. So now we're feeding based on workers. I mean, we did let one die, so maybe that's a good thing. 24, so we need 18 additional food to take care of our hunger next round. That's going to be difficult. Night phase. Remove everyone, and we do still have the shelter because the storm hasn't hit. So we still have enough. 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus the children. So that's okay, no sickness based on that. Move the round marker. Resolve event. We have, if there is a beacon built, go to A, otherwise go to B. So we can lose a discontent or gain a hope. We will gain a hope. Then turn scenario card number 2. Beacons light Beacon's lights have guided refugees scattered across the frozen wasteland to our settlement. The news they brought are sad and alarming. They say no other beacons were lit. We must check what has happened at Winterhome, the closest settlement that was still occupied. Place the X500 on the expedition's display. This one. And after placing it, choose A or B. We can gain a hope and get some additional workers. 6 workers. 24 will get us 1 extra meeple. That's pretty good. 2 engineers. Doesn't get us anything. 3 children. Gets us 1 more child. But we do have space in the shelter anyway. Or we lose a hope. I am more than happy to take them on board. We will gain the additional care. That is 2 uses of our care house. 6 workers. It's more people to feed. I suppose that's a problem. So we've gone past another threshold for workers and children. Not another body, another worker. There'll be bodies soon enough, but at this point they are still alive.